Well, looks like I just finally got seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, man. I gotta say, it was alright, yeah. Yeah, there were some parts of it I really do admire, like the acting was good, the visual effects are pretty good, and I am open for a darker version, but the rest I kind of thought was just alright at best. So yeah, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it was okay. It's not one of my favorites. Boy, 2 reactions all in one day. Well, yeah. So yeah, I just got to see the trailer for the new Goosebumps movie, and it actually does look okay. I mean, I think I do love the first film for what it's trying to do, but this one, yeah, it does kind of look a little bit different, but it could be a decent sequel. We may never know. Alright, it looks like we got a brand new trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody, and it still looks really good. So yeah, they really expand a whole lot on what's going on with the original trailer, while adding a whole lot of drama and conflict, and a whole lot of inspiration on how Queen came up with their song. So yeah, I'm keeping my hopes up. This movie actually does look really good. I'm really excited to see it. Well, after a long wait, we finally got a trailer for Glass, and it actually does look really good. I really love of how atmospheric it is and how intense all of it is. So yeah, I think for while I am not a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan, I say this movie actually does look pretty interesting. So yeah, I gotta see Unbreakable and Split beforehand. So for now, I thought the trailer for Glass is pretty interesting. Well, it's been a little while, but I got to see another episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and this one is my all-time favorite so far, just mainly because, not only, for the fact that, Kobayashi and Toru are competing each other to help out Kana with, some, food and stuff, but Elma is actually the best part of, this episode. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Definitely one of my favorites. Well, I got to see yet another episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and this one turned out to be really good. Just pretty much the idea of having a sports festival in this episode actually kind of reminds me of field days back in my days at school. So yeah, overall, really good episode. Highly recommend it. It's pretty fun to watch. Well, a little bit too early for this, but I gotta say, this latest episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, it's actually a really good Christmas episode, yeah. Just the idea on their take on the little match girl is actually really impressive. In fact, I think this episode should be in like some of the top 10 best Christmas episodes in anime. So yeah, really great episode. Highly recommend it. Well, seeing of how San Diego Comic-Con is currently going on, I figure I would take a look at a few trailers that came out, and believe it or not, I got to see the trailer for the new Fantastic Beasts movie, and it's actually pretty good. Not great, but still pretty good. So yeah, I really love of how atmospheric it is. So yeah, maybe this would intrigue me a bit. So I gotta see the first one beforehand, but the trailer for the new one is good. Well, it looks like we finally got a trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and holy freaking crap, that was amazing! Yeah, I haven't seen the new Godzilla movie, but this trailer actually does look pretty interesting, and with so many monsters in that trailer, yeah, it's like the movie said, they're out of their goddamn mind! So yeah, I can't wait to see this movie because it does look pretty nice. Jeez, how many reactions can I put up for one day? But yeah, I actually got to see the trailer for Shazam, and it actually does look very action-packed, so yeah, I think I know, apart from the other DC movies I saw, maybe this one can be really good alongside Wonder Woman, so yeah, I really love the trailer for Shazam, so I think the movie is going to be pretty good. Yes! Finally! We finally got a trailer for Aquaman that's coming out, and it's actually really good, yeah, the actors are actually really good. Visually, it looks really impressive, and not to mention, really action-packed, so yeah, there's nothing else I can say, except, I think this movie is going to be fan-freaking-tastic. I am definitely gonna love it when it comes out. Well, I just recently saw the newest trailer for Alita Battle Angel, and it looks okay, yeah, I mean, visually, it does look pretty interesting, and, the action scenes actually do look pretty good, and some of the actors actually pulled off a good performance in it, but yeah, everything else though is pretty okay for the most part, but we'll know when the movie comes out, seeing of how live-action anime adaptations don't do well, so we'll see. Oh my god, Newsies the musical was amazing. Yeah, everything about it, I say, is absolutely wonderful. The story, the characters, the songs, everything about it is absolutely amazing. It's almost like, I think it's almost like the movie itself actually got a major upgrade. So yeah, if you haven't seen the Broadway version of Newsies, I highly recommend it. It is well worth it. Well, I got to see the latest trailer for Slender Man, and yeah, I think the question they always ask if can I see him? Barely, so yeah, I guess if anything, I could barely see Slender Man in here, but the rest, on the other hand, is just like any other generic horror movie, just filled with nothing but jump scares and all that other stuff, and yeah, not really a good trailer. Well, I just finished up watching Mamma Mia, and I gotta say, it's a really awesome musical. Yeah, everything from the songs, the actors, everything about it is just absolutely Wait, what? I'm supposed to be talking about the movie? Oh, well, yeah, I think the movie was kind of underwhelming. Though I guess there are some parts of it I do like. The rest, I have to say, kind of underwhelming. Not bad in my opinion, just eh. Well, it looks like we just got out of seeing Sailor Moon R, the movie, and it was amazing. And what do you think?
It was a really cute movie, and I loved Human Luna.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cute.
Yeah, and that we'll talk about in Sailor Moon S right about next. Well, we've lived out to the promise, and we also saw Sailor Moon S, the movie, and is it as good as we remembered?
Yeah, and it was nice seeing the new dub. I think they did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely worth checking out. Definitely go see it. It is well worth it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
and oh, how I love my Osako. Well, I could have done it a little bit earlier, but I got to see the first episode of Little Witch Academia, and it's actually really, really good. So yeah, the characters are really good. Visually, it's impressive. Like, I really love of how magical it looks. So yeah, I guess if anything, I'm off to a great start with Little Witch Academia. It actually does look really, really, really amazing. Boy, I guess seeing the latest TV spot for the Meg, yeah, is it either crazy or really silly? Yeah. I don't have much hope for the Meg. Just think of it as Jaws, but a little bit more CGI-ish, but except it's the freaking Megalodon shark, so yeah, I don't think it's actually that impressive. Well, looks like I think it's been a few months since we got a new trailer for Venom, but it looks like we got a new one that just popped up today, and I gotta say, I think it's pretty much my same reaction on the last trailer, but the only major difference is that it's pretty creepy as hell. Yeah, I never really intended to be a little bit creepy, but it's still pretty action-packed, so we'll see how it turns out. Well, I just finished up watching the second episode of Little Witch Academia, and it's still really good. Yeah, I think it is still easily as good as the first episode, and I think the whole rivalry thing, trying to see if Ako could prove herself, is actually quite impressive. So I really love this episode. Definitely well worth it. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia really fascinated me a whole lot, just mainly because our heroes going out on a mission to return Luna Novel's Sorcerer's Stone, which powers up all of their magic. So I will say, this is actually a really fascinating episode. I highly recommend it. It's another one of my favorites so far. Really, really great. Well, I just recently saw the Angry Birds movie, and I gotta say, it was a pretty decent flick, yeah. Yeah, I will admit, it did suffer a little bit, from, what it's trying to do, but I will say the animation's pretty good, and some of the jokes in it, I did get a good laugh out of it, so yeah, all I can say is, I had a good time with the Angry Birds movie. It was a pretty decent flick. Well, another day, another episode of Little Witch Academia, and I gotta say, it's actually a really good one. I mean, just the idea of our main characters going out to a festival dedicated to everything related to the Nightfall series, from what I recall. I know it's a series of books, but I will say this episode is really fun to watch, so I highly recommend it. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia really fascinated me a whole lot, just mainly because our heroes going out on a mission to return Luna Novel's Sorcerer's Stone, which powers up all of their magic. So I will say, this is actually a really fascinating episode. I highly recommend it. It's another one of my favorites so far. Really, really great. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia is actually not only pretty funny, but maybe it's emotional at the same time. Some of the funny parts is, of course, Akko failing a transformation spell, and I really love the emotional part where we get to see what's going on with Akko's favorite idol. So I say this episode is really, really fascinating. It's worth a watch. We are living in Orange Summer. Oh, you get the joke already, but yeah, I will have to say this episode of Little Witch Academia is actually pretty fascinating. Just mainly because of Akko trying her best to pass all of her exams. So yeah, overall, really great episode. Definitely really great. Well, I might as well finish what I started by taking a look at this latest episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I have to say, it was actually pretty good. Not great, but pretty good, yeah. I mean, just the idea of having a simple old New Year's episode thrown into an anime, I say this episode really did a good job at that, so I will say, pretty good episode. Well, this episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid really surprises me a whole lot, just mainly because the two flashbacks, one where Toru meets Kobayashi and another where she meets the bandit girl, is absolutely really spectacular, and yeah, this episode does go into full detail on why Toru wants to become a maid in the first place, so yeah, overall, really great episode. I highly recommend it. Well, this is it. One last episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I gotta say, they really went out on a high note, yeah. I mean, everything about it, from the big epic battle between Toru and her father, and everything else, though, it's just an absolute delight. So yeah, I'm really glad that they went out with this series on a high note. So yeah, really a great final episode, and overall, really great show. Oh my god, the Sailor Moon Super S movie was amazing, yeah. I never thought it would be that good as the other two, but it was well worth it. The acting, the writing, the characters, everything about it is just absolutely incredible. So yeah, really great way to end the Sailor Moon movie trilogy, and I'll be looking forward to seeing more sometime soon. Guys, looks like we got a brand new trailer for the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, and it actually does look pretty good. Not great, but pretty good, yeah. Yeah, visually it's pretty interesting. The acting looks okay for the most part, but hey, we'll know when the movie comes out. I mean, I know the Nutcracker story has been told dozens of times, but hardly in film, so who knows? Maybe this will be good. My god, what did I just watch? So, oh my god, I think just pretty much this bizarre Alice in Wonderland type story in this episode of Little Witch Academia, yeah, it actually is pretty bizarre. So yeah, just the amount of strangeness to it, it's yeah, like I said, it's pretty bizarre. So yeah, overall great episode, but man, this was a weird one to watch. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia was quite something. So yeah, I mean, just the idea of using magic to bring back the dead when they're not really supposed to in the first place, it's actually quite hilarious in my opinion. So yeah, really great episode, hilarious payoff, and really heartwarming ending in my opinion. Man, this episode of Little Witch Academia actually kind of surprised me a bit. I mean, just pretty much all it is just a basic Cinderella story mixed in with a bit of goofiness plus a bee. Yeah, nothing much else, just a bee. So yeah, pretty good episode. Not the best in my opinion, but it's still pretty fun to watch. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia is actually quite fascinating. I mean, just the idea of Akko still determined to become a witch and follow her idol and even try to find the answer she's looking for. I say this episode really proves that. So yeah, we may never know until sometime later in the series, but overall, this is a really great episode. Well, this episode of Little Witch Academia is actually not only fascinating, but pretty hilarious at the same time. I mean, just the idea of Akko screwing everything up as Diana in some preparation for some festival, I think it's actually really delightful. So yeah, really great episode in my opinion, and I know Akko's gonna find the answers to her idol anytime soon. Oh my god, this episode of Little Witch Academia was awe-inspiring. I think it's quite frankly the best one I have seen so far. I mean, just Akko and the gang just fighting off that giant gloomy monster when really they're supposed to be sacrificed. It's actually pretty impressive. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites so far. I really love it. Well, looks like the beginning of part 2, or as Netflix would like to say, the beginning of season 2 of Little Witch Academia was actually pretty fascinating, and this episode is actually a really great start to it, and so yeah, just the idea of the fairies going on strike, and not to mention all that other stuff, particularly on the SSS, it's actually pretty impressive, so I really love it. Well, I guess this episode of Little Witch Academia is actually quite amazing, just mainly because of the big epic twist for Professor Ursula. I mean, I totally didn't see it coming when I saw it myself, but yeah, I guess other than that, really great episode in my opinion. Definitely another one of my favorites. It's definitely worth checking out. Well, it looks like I just got out of seeing Christopher Robin, and I was very delighted by it. Yeah, it was definitely well worth it. It's just as good as I hoped it would be. So yeah, I don't think it's pretty much the best writing-wise, but it is very fun to watch. So yeah, definitely a really good movie. Not great, but it is well worth checking out. Man, oh man. Looks like this episode of Little Witch Academia is really amazing. I mean, just the idea of Akko going on this long journey to help out her friends breaking out of some sort of moss spell or something. It's actually quite fascinating. I really love of how she's evolving. So yeah, really great episode in my opinion. So this episode of Little Witch Academia, quite really fascinating. Just the idea on Akko finding the Holy Grail. I think I was about this close to saying, I fought in your feather direction! yeah, you get the idea on where I'm going for. So, yeah, pretty good episode. Not great, but pretty good. Oh my god. This episode of Little Witch Academia is actually pretty amazing. I mean, it's like a Gurren Lagann mixed in with Attack on Titan and Ghostbusters at the same time, with a slight pint of Pirates of the Caribbean and every single movie about robots and stuff. So yeah, overall, really great episode. Definitely worth checking out. Man, I gotta say, this episode of Little Witch Academia is almost kind of heartbreaking, I have to say the least. I mean, Diane leaving Luna Novel just to be with her family again. It's actually quite fascinating, and not to mention her backstory. I guess it actually does make sense. So overall, pretty good episode. Well, looks like we got a really excellent conclusion to part 2 of the last episode of Little Witch Academia with this episode in particular, but yeah, I guess other than that, I am really impressed by it, and not to mention the twist I saw is I really didn't see it coming. It's really impressive. So overall, pretty good episode. Well, it looks like Akko is getting really close to fulfilling her destiny, and this episode of Little Witch Academia really proves that. I mean, just everything about it, just all the trial and error that Akko is going through is actually pretty fascinating. So I really enjoyed this episode. Really great in my opinion. Well, I guess with this episode of Little Witch Academia, looks like all the questions are starting to get answered right away. I mean, I never would have expected Professor Koi to actually be the bad guy in this. I mean, I know I've seen coming like a mile away, but this I will have to admit is impressive. So yeah, really great episode in my opinion. I'll be looking forward to seeing what will happen next. Man, oh man, this episode of Little Witch Academia is really touching indeed. I mean, I never would have thought Diana is a big fan of Cherry from all these years ago, but I say that's actually pretty fascinating. So yeah, I really love this episode, and I really cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the final 2 episodes pretty soon. Man, I gotta say, part 1 of the series finale of Little Witch Academia is really spot on. I mean, yeah, just with all the answers coming together, and not to mention the great reveal and stuff like that, and everything about it is just absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, part 1 is actually really good. I can't wait to see part 2. Man, I gotta say, the final episode of Little Witch Academia was absolutely amazing. Yeah, just everything about it is just really, really incredible. Just wrapping everything up, and I gotta say, everything about it is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, really great finale, and overall, really great show in my opinion. Well, I guess I just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I have to say, it was actually really, really good. Yeah, just everything about it, just as much as I love the first film, I think it's actually pretty impressive. So, yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's just as good as I hoped it would be. Really recommend it all the way. Well, after getting to rewatch SHREK after quite a while, I have to say, I am still really fascinated by this movie. Yeah, everything about it, the animation, the characters, the comedy, all of that is absolutely incredible. So yeah, I highly recommend SHREK. Definitely one of the best DreamWorks movies I've ever seen. Well, I guess seeing of how I am impressed with the first SHREK movie, as for the sequel, well, I think I like it as much as I like the first film. Yeah, they really expanded a whole lot on the entire world itself, and plus more development with our characters and stuff, and the comedy is still incredibly well done. So yeah, I highly recommend SHREK 2. It is a really great sequel. Boy, it's been a long time since I have done a trailer reaction, but yeah, I just recently saw the trailer for The Frontrunner, and it actually does look pretty interesting. I mean, just the idea of Hugh Jackman playing a guy running for president, it's actually quite nice. I don't think it'll be something I'll see in theaters right away, but it actually does look pretty good, I have to admit. Well, after getting to rewatch SHREK the Third, I really don't know what to think of it, yeah. But still, I will have to say, it still kept the same charm and likability as the first 2 films, but I think I will say the rest, on the other hand, just kind of feels a little bit lackluster. So, yeah, I don't think it's bad or anything, nor is it good. It's just kind of underwhelming. Well, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to its release date, because we finally got the final trailer for The Predator that's going to be coming out, and I will say, apart from some of the other trailers that I thought were just okay at best, this one, I have to say, is actually pretty good. Yeah, I mean, just everything about it, the action, the characters, it actually looks really good, and it looks like it's gonna be a good R-rated movie, but we'll see when it comes out. Well, I've decided to wrap up watching all of the SHREK movies with the 4th one, SHREK Forever After, and I will have to say, well, it is better than SHREK the Third, but it's actually pretty underwhelming for the most part, but yeah, I think I will have to say, it is better than SHREK the Third, but it's okay at best. Well, I know it's been a while, but after getting to rewatch Happy Feet after quite a while, I have to say, I'm impressed by it, yeah, just everything. The characters are interesting, the animation is pretty good, and I really love the idea of just dancing penguins all together. So yeah, for while I don't think it's necessarily the best movie I saw in my opinion, it's still pretty damn good. Well, I gotta say, seeing of how I was impressed by the first Happy Feet movie, I was quite curious to see on how the sequel will do, and yeah, it didn't do much for me. So So yeah, I will have to say some parts of it I have to say are pretty impressive, but the rest I have to say just kind of builds up to nothing. So yeah, it's not bad in my opinion, but it's just at best. Boy, these trailers for those new movies are coming out pretty fast, but yeah, I actually got to see the final trailer for the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, and it still looks pretty good. Yeah, I think I really love of how epic and amazing this movie feels, but we'll see when the actual movie comes out. So for now, I say this is actually a pretty good trailer. From the director that has ruined Scooby-Doo twice in a row, comes his second attempt at directing a live-action movie based on a cartoon, and failing miserably. So yeah, after getting to see the Smurfs after quite a while, I'm not ashamed to admit I did like it at first, but looking back on it, yeah, I made a grief mistake. So yeah, the Smurfs, yeah, it sucks. Well, looks like we got a brand new trailer for Halloween, and I have to say, as much as I do love the first trailer for it, this one is actually much more atmospheric, it's much more scary, and it's much more intense, so yeah, I'm not sure if it could be something that I would like to seeing of how I never saw any of the other Halloween movies, but this is actually a really awesome trailer, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I guess since after seeing the first Smurfs movie, I guess it makes sense if I take a look at the sequel, and, well, I know I said the first film was bad, but this, I have to say, it's insufferable. So yeah, this is actually unbearable to watch. So yeah, everything about it is actually making the first film look like a masterpiece. So yeah, the Smurfs 2. Well, I've decided to wrap up watching all the Smurfs movies by taking a look at Smurfs: The Lost Village, and I will have to say, it was alright. So yeah, the animation was actually, okay at best. Some of the voice actors actually pulled off decent performances. And I will give credit for this. It's better than the live action film. So yeah, Smurfs: The Lost Village, it was okay at best.